One of the most famous myths claims we only use 10% of our brain. Sounds like we've got hidden superpowers waiting to be unlocked, right? But brain scans, MRIs, PET scans, EEGs all show activity across every region, even while we're resting or sleeping. Different areas switch on for memory, language, movement, emotions, even daydreaming. In truth, our brain is one of the most energy-hungry organs in the body, using about 20% of all calories. If 90% were really unused, evolution would never waste so much energy keeping it alive. People love to say lightning never strikes the same place twice, but in reality, tall structures get hit over and over. The Empire State Building in New York, struck by lightning around 20 to 25 times every single year. Lightning follows the path of least resistance, so tall, isolated objects, skyscrapers, radio towers, wind turbines, are magnets for strikes. Even natural places like lone trees on a hill or mountain peaks are regular targets. If lightning has struck somewhere once, chances are good it'll strike there again. Another classic myth says shaving makes hair grow back darker, thicker, or faster. But shaving only slices the hair at the surface of the skin. It never touches the follicle underneath. The blunt, flat edge left behind can feel stubbly and rough, which creates the illusion of thickness. Hair color, texture, and growth rate are actually controlled by genetics and hormones. That's why some people have coarse facial hair while others barely grow any. Your razor has nothing to do with it. Poor goldfish. Everyone thinks they can't remember a thing for more than 3 seconds. But research shows otherwise. Scientists have trained goldfish to swim through mazes, respond to specific sounds, and even come to the surface when a buzzer rings, weeks or months after learning the trick. They can remember feeding times and even recognize their owner's face near the glass. So instead of 3 seconds, think of their memory more like months, which is impressive for such a small brain. Maybe the creepiest myth says we swallow spiders while we sleep. Supposedly, a spider crawls into your mouth and you eat it without noticing. The truth? Spiders want nothing to do with us. We're noisy, we move, we breathe, and our warm, moist breath is like a hurricane to them. There's zero scientific evidence that this ever happens naturally. In fact, the myth likely started as an internet hoax to show how easily false facts spread. So rest easy, the only thing crawling in your bed is this myth itself. In bullfights, the matador always waves a red cape, so people assume bulls hate red. But bulls are actually red-green colorblind. What really triggers them is the fast, dramatic movement of the cloth. Any bright piece of fabric, yellow, white, even blue, would get the same reaction. The red cape, called a muleta, became tradition mostly for show. It hides blood stains and looks dramatic to the audience. So, it's not about the color at all, it's about motion and tradition. Another popular myth says the Great Wall of China is the only man-made structure visible from space, but astronauts have repeatedly debunked this. From low Earth orbit, you can clearly see city lights, airport runways, and huge highways, but the Great Wall is too narrow and built with materials that blend into the natural landscape. Astronauts say it's actually very hard to spot without zoom lenses. In truth, many human creations are visible from space, just not the wall. Hollywood loves the image of fierce Vikings wearing horned helmets, but in reality, no archaeological evidence shows they used them in battle. Excavated helmets from Viking graves are simple, practical iron designs. The horned version first appeared in 19th century opera and theater costumes, then spread to paintings, comics, and eventually movies. Historians now agree the horned helmet is pure fantasy, but a powerful one that shaped pop culture. Parents often blame sugar when kids get wild at birthday parties or holidays, but dozens of carefully controlled studies show no link between sugar consumption and hyperactivity. What's really happening is the context. Parties are already exciting, Kids are surrounded by friends, games, and music. The sweets just happen to be there, so sugar takes the blame. The only real effect sugar has is a quick burst of energy, followed by a drop, but not hyperactivity. It's all about the situation. Carrots are great for your eyes because they're rich in vitamin A, but they won't turn you into a night vision superhero. This myth started during World War II. The British military spread propaganda claiming their pilots had incredible night vision thanks to eating carrots, hiding the real reason. They had developed advanced radar technology. The story was so convincing it spread worldwide and still survives today. Carrots help keep your eyes healthy, but they don't give you special powers in the dark. Cracking your knuckles might annoy everyone around you, but it doesn't cause arthritis. The popping sound is caused by gas bubbles collapsing in the synovial fluid of your joints. Long-term studies even followed people who cracked only one hand for decades and found no difference in arthritis rates. The only downside is that frequent cracking can lead to slight swelling or reduced grip strength, but it's not dangerous. So it's safe, just a bit irritating to others. Chameleons are famous for blending into their surroundings, but that's not the main reason they change colors. They shift hues to regulate body temperature and to communicate. Bright colors show aggression or dominance, while softer shades may signal calm or attraction. Camouflage does happen, especially when they need to hide from predators, but it's just one function among many. Their color changes are a language as much as a disguise. People often say humans evolved directly from monkeys, but that's not accurate. Instead, humans and modern monkeys share a common ancestor that lived millions of years ago. That ancestor branched into many evolutionary lines. Some became today's monkeys and apes. Others eventually led to us. So, we're not descended from monkeys we see today, but we are evolutionary cousins. This is why humans and chimps share about 98 to 99% of their DNA. The phrase blind as a bat couldn't be more wrong. Bats actually have decent eyesight, and some species can see very well, even in daylight. What makes them special is echolocation, using high-frequency sound waves to map their surroundings in complete darkness. This allows them to catch tiny insects mid-flight with pinpoint accuracy. So bats aren't blind, they simply use two different vision systems, eyes and ears, to navigate the world. One of the most harmful modern myths is that vaccines cause autism. The idea started with a single fraudulent study in the 1990s, which was later fully retracted. Since then, scientists have run dozens of large-scale studies involving millions of children worldwide, and the evidence is crystal clear. Vaccines do not cause autism. Unfortunately, the myth still spreads online and fuels vaccine hesitancy. This leads to dangerous outbreaks of preventable diseases like measles, putting entire communities at risk. Trust the science. Vaccines save lives.